All right, today we're going to step into the mountains of a Pashtun village to explore a really fascinating story about justice. But here's the thing, this isn't a story of courtrooms and gavels. Nope. It's about an ancient tradition, a community literally on the brink of collapse, and a verdict that was all about healing, not punishment.
And this story, it makes you ask a pretty fundamental question. What is justice, really? Is it just about judges and lawyers and winning or losing? Or could it be something totally different? Something that tries to restore balance to an entire community? Just keep that question in your back pocket as we head into the village of Zargungan.
So our story kicks off in this mountain community called Zargun, where life is pretty much governed by tradition. And for generations, you've got two tribes, the Kakar and the Shinwari, living right there, side by side. You know, less like neighbors and more like one big family. Now, the absolute heart of their shared world was this little canal that flowed right through the village. And I mean, this wasn't just water. This was everything. It was the lifeblood for the farms of both tribes. It was the one single thread that wove their two communities together. But you know how it is with any shared, precious resource. That connection was fragile. And one really dry year, that fragility was tested in a huge way, pushing the entire village right to the edge of disaster. That year, the rains just didn't come. The canal shrank down to a trickle, and as the crops started to wither, you could feel the desperation setting in. Fearing for their kids, the Shinwari tribe made a huge, fateful decision. Under the cover of darkness, they secretly diverted what was left of the canal's flow entirely to their own land.
And this, right here, is the core of the whole problem. See, the Shinwari weren't being evil. They were just trying to survive. Their children were literally hungry. But for the Kakari tribe, who woke up to bone-dry fields, it was a massive betrayal. It was theft. The thing is, both sides truly believed they were in the right, and that's exactly what makes a situation like this so incredibly dangerous.
And things escalated, immediately. The young Kakar men were shouting, "This is deception!" Swords were unsheathed, and the air just got thick with the threat of violence. You could feel this shadow of bloodshed falling over the whole village. It really looked like a war was about to break out. But then, just as that first blow was about to be struck, a single voice of wisdom cut right through all that anger. And this was the moment that changed absolutely everything. The village elder, a man named Malik Rahma Khan, he stepped forward. And his words weren't a command, they were a warning, born from a lifetime of experience. He reminded them that violence has a memory, and once it starts, it can poison a community for generations. He was pleading with them to choose a different path. And that different path was the Jirga. Now, a Jirga is not a court trying to find a winner and a loser. It's way better to think of it as the conscience of the community. Its goal isn't to punish a crime, but to heal the social fabric, to restore that balance they had lost. And the way the Jirga is run is just as important as the final verdict. It is deliberately designed to strip away all the symbols of power and force everyone to connect on a purely human level. The principles are so simple, but they're incredibly profound. The whole thing is held in a neutral space, under a tree, not in some fortress or official building. Everyone sits on the ground on simple white sheets. There are no titles, no positions of authority. Everybody is equal. And the most important rule, the number one rule, is absolute. You must listen. No interruptions. This forces each side to actually hear the other's pain and their perspective. So after both sides had finally spoken their piece, the elder poses this one question to one of the really angry young men, and it is a masterstroke. He asks, "If you win today, who will protect your children's peace tomorrow?" He completely reframes the goal. This isn't about winning a fight today, it's about making sure your kids can live in peace tomorrow. And the young man's eyes just fell. In that one moment, the entire feel of the conflict shifted. After some quiet deliberation, the elders came back and delivered their verdict. And it wasn't just a simple command. It was this carefully constructed three-part solution designed to address every single part of the problem. Okay, so let's break this down. First, it addresses the immediate, practical need. The water will be shared on a schedule. Simple. Second, it addresses the moral injury. The Shinwari have to apologize. They have to acknowledge that what they did in secret was wrong. And third, and this is key, it forces them to invest in a shared future. Both tribes have to work together to improve the canal, making it stronger for everyone.
It's a solution that looks at the past, deals with the present, and builds for the future. Just brilliant.
And this really gets to the core philosophy of the whole thing. No one walked away feeling like they'd won, because that was never the point. The goal wasn't to make one side happy. It was to make sure the entire community survived.
So, what was the result of this pretty unique form of justice? Well, what happened next is maybe the most powerful part of the entire story. The swords were put away, and those young men from both tribes, the ones who were ready to kill each other just moments before, they now picked up tools. They worked side by side, gathering stones and moving earth. So in the end, the argument wasn't won by the Kakar or the Shinwari. The real victory, the only victory that mattered, belonged to peace. The elder left them with this one last piece of wisdom. He said, "A legal ruling is just words on a page, right? A line etched in stone. But the verdict of a Jirga, that's different. It's meant to be internalized. It becomes a responsibility you carry in your heart to protect the peace and well-being of your people."
And that brings us right back to our opening question. But now we have the wisdom of Zargun go on to think about. This story really challenges our modern idea of justice, doesn't it? It forces us to ask, is justice really about winning an argument? Or is it about the much harder, more vital work of rebuilding a community? That's a question worth carrying with you.